Jeffrey Epstein was a wealthy financier with powerful friends. He was arrested in 2019 on federal charges for sex trafficking of minors. His death in a Manhattan jail cell before his trial sparked a whole lot of questions and theories. For years, people have demanded to see the files related to his case. They believe these files could expose powerful people who were involved in his crimes. The public wants to know who knew about Epstein's activities and who participated in them. The release of these files has been a major point of public interest and political debate, with many believing they hold the key to uncovering a vast network of corruption and abuse at the highest levels of society. The story of the Epstein files is not just about one man's crimes, it's about a search for truth and accountability. Many people, especially supporters of former President Trump, believed the files contained a client list that would incriminate his political enemies. This expectation created enormous pressure on the administration to release everything. The promise of revealing this list became a significant talking point for some officials. The anticipation grew over many months, with online communities and media personalities speculating about who might be named. The files transformed from a legal matter into a symbol of a deeper political battle for transparency and justice. The situation reached a boiling point in July 2025. The Trump administration, which had promised transparency, found itself in the middle of a major internal conflict. The disagreement centered on how to handle the remaining Epstein information. Different officials had different ideas about what should be released and what the information actually meant. This internal struggle became public, revealing deep divisions within the administration. The clash was not just about policy. It was a personal and political fight that threatened to undermine the unity of the president's team during a critical time. The core of the problem was a conflict between expectations and reality. For months, some in the administration had hinted at explosive revelations to come. They suggested a comprehensive list of Epstein's associates was forthcoming. But when the official information finally came out, it did not match the dramatic promises that had been made. This discrepancy created a political firestorm. It pitted officials against one another and left many supporters feeling betrayed. The fallout from this disagreement would test loyalties and raise serious questions about the administration's handling of one of the most sensitive cases in recent memory. The recent conflict involves several key figures within the Trump administration, all known for their loyalty to the former president. The main players are Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. Bondi, as the head of the Department of Justice, was responsible for the official release of information. Patel, a former conspiracy theorist, and Bongino, a former Secret Service agent and popular podcaster, represented a faction within the FBI that reportedly wanted more information to be made public. These three individuals found themselves at the center of a very public and heated dispute over the handling of the Epstein case files. The disagreement erupted over an official memo released by the Department of Justice and the FBI. This memo delivered two significant conclusions that stunned many observers. First, it firmly restated the official cause of Epstein's death as suicide, a finding that conspiracy theories have long challenged. Second, and perhaps more importantly, the memo stated that no client list as it had been described ever existed within the files reviewed by the investigators. This directly contradicted the narrative that some officials, including Bondi, had previously suggested to the public and to influencers, creating a major credibility problem for the administration. Attorney General Pam Bondi had been the public face of the Epstein file review. She had previously held events for influencers and hinted at major revelations. Many believe she overpromised what the files contained, specifically the existence of a detailed client list. On the other side, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel were reportedly angry with Bondi's approach. They felt she was mismanaging the release and creating unrealistic expectations. They believed in releasing more raw information, but the final memo, which all three officially signed, did not deliver the bombshells that many of their supporters were anticipating. The conflict became intensely personal. A news article suggested that Bongino and Patel were trying to release more documents, but were being blocked by the Department of Justice. This led to a tense White House meeting on July 9, 2025. Bongino reportedly denied leaking the story and left the meeting angry. The public denials from officials could not hide the clear signs of a serious rift. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche even took to the social media platform X to insist that everyone, including Bongino and Patel, had signed off on the memo, an attempt to project a united front that few found convincing. At the heart of the controversy is a 10-hour surveillance video from the hallway outside Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino had found this video. He had personally vouched for it, believing it would finally put an end to the persistent theories that Epstein was murdered. He saw the footage as definitive proof that no one had entered or left the cell area around the time of Epstein's death. The video was meant to be the final word, a piece of evidence that would close a chapter of suspicion and restore some faith in the official investigation and its conclusions. However, the video contained a critical flaw that had the opposite effect. Investigators discovered a 60-second gap in the footage, a single missing minute. Officials quickly explained this gap as a routine daily system reset, a technical glitch common to that particular surveillance system. But in the context of the highly suspicious Epstein case, this explanation was not enough for many people. That one missing minute became a giant hole in the official story. It was seen not as a coincidence but as a convenient error that could hide a terrible crime, instantly undermining the video's credibility. The missing minute immediately fueled a new wave of conspiracy theories. For those who already believed Epstein was murdered, the gap was proof of a cover-up. They argued that 60 seconds was more than enough time for an assassin to slip into the cell, commit the act, and leave undetected. The technical explanation was dismissed as a weak excuse. This development put Dan Bongino in a very difficult position. The evidence he had championed as the key to ending the conspiracies had now become the primary source of new ones, and he was blamed for the oversight. The reaction from Trump supporters and right-wing figures was swift and angry. Many felt betrayed by the administration they had trusted to expose the truth. Influencers like Alex Jones and Laura Loomer accused the administration of participating in a cover-up. They attacked the official memo and the flawed video as a deliberate attempt to protect powerful people. Instead of providing closure, the release of the memo and the video created an even bigger crisis of trust. It left many supporters questioning the integrity of the very officials they had once viewed as heroes fighting for transparency. The explosive White House meeting on July 9th left deep scars within the administration. Officials like Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and Deputy Chief of Staff Taylor Budowich were present and witnessed the bitter exchange. After Dan Bongino angrily left the meeting, the internal divisions were no longer a secret. The fallout was immediate. On Friday, July 11th, just 2 days after the confrontation, Bongino took the day off from his duties at the FBI. This absence was highly unusual and immediately sparked widespread rumors that he was on the verge of resigning from his post as deputy director. The White House and the Department of Justice quickly moved to control the narrative. Publicly, they denied any internal conflict. White House spokesperson Harrison Fields called the reports of division baseless. President Trump himself deflected questions about the Epstein files. During a press conference about severe floods in Texas, he criticized the media for focusing on the Epstein drama instead of the natural disaster. He gave no indication that he would appoint a special prosecutor or release more files, signaling a desire to move on from the politically damaging episode as quickly as possible. Despite the official denials, the damage was done. The clash demonstrated a significant failure within the Trump administration to manage a highly sensitive issue. The strategy of promising a bombshell client list that did not exist backfired spectacularly. It not only failed to satisfy the public's demand for truth, but also angered the president's most loyal base of supporters. The episode exposed a government at odds with itself, with key officials unable to agree on a coherent strategy, leading to confusion, anger, and accusations of a cover-up from their own side. This internal battle over the Epstein files is important because it highlights the immense pressure and competing agendas at play within the government. The conflict has weakened trust between key officials and has damaged the administration's credibility with its own supporters. Looking ahead, the question is whether the administration can repair these internal relationships and regain the trust of its base. The unresolved anger and suspicion surrounding the Epstein case will likely linger, posing a continuing political challenge. The missing minute may be a small detail, but it now symbolizes a much larger story of broken promises and enduring doubt.